What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. We're hearing some sources say up to 60,000 illegal migrants crossing the border here at the southern border here today. At just the first day, just the first half of the day here, 60,000 people trying to crossing, maybe being apprehended, maybe being not. And this is just the first half of the day. Yeah. And I'll let you see and hear this here in a moment as Title 42 expires, now goes back to Title 8. You guys can let me know your thoughts here on this and what will happen going forward. We'll see. I'll let you see this here in a moment. Pretty shocking. And will the border be able to contain this, and how many will get through? The House Republicans last night actually passed a new border protection bill limiting asylum protections. In the House, though, here's what happened here. Take a look here. House Republicans late last night passed their long promised border crackdown at the very last moment, voting to finish former President Donald Trump's border wall and severely restrict access to asylum seekers the same day President Biden is set to lift the use of Title 42. It's not really President Biden that's lifting it, it's that the pandemic is expiring, along with a whole host of things here. I don't know, it's your opinion on whether that is, it's because the pandemic is ending. H.R. 2, originally designed to be one of the first major pieces of legislation passed under the new Republican majority, was approved narrowly with a 219 to 213 vote a day after wrangling over relatively minor sections of the bill after briefly being delayed. Beyond building the wall, the legislation greatly increases the hiring of border agents, seeking to bar them from doing any processing of migrants. Language Democrats said would prevent officers from doing basic tasks. But its most significant provisions slice away at asylum rights for those fleeing persecution and other pathways to come to the U.S. Measures immigration advocates describe as amongst the most extreme provisions to be seriously considered by the House in recent years. Quote, "This is the largest human trafficking crisis I have ever witnessed in my lifetime, and it's time for Congress to act and restore control to this uncontrolled border," said House Foreign Affairs Chairman Michael McCaul, Republican from Texas, a sponsor of the bill. He pointed to the numerous Trump policies included in the bill, calling them proven solutions to reduce the chaos. However, I don't believe there was any Democrats that voted for this bill, so it's pretty much dead on arrival in the Senate. So, as I said, it only passed the House, has a little to no chance of passing in the Senate. Yeah, so this is the problem. We now revert back to Title 8 for asylum seekers or people trying to cross illegally. And I'm actually shocked that the Democrats don't want to strengthen border policies. Maybe they're okay with the Title 8 border policies. Take a look here and you'll see what's happening here at the border right now.
Pandemic-era immigration policy known as Title 42 officially expired about 7.5 hours ago. Homeland Security officials say illegal border crossings topped 10,000 per day this week. That's the highest level ever. The Biden administration is urging those seeking entry into the United States to use lawful pathways. And joining us now to talk more about this is Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Mr. Secretary, thanks for your time this morning. So we had heard in the days leading up to the expiration of Title 42 that at the stroke of midnight Eastern time, a couple hours before that, along the border out in the Southwest, that there would be a flood of migrants, that there were 60 to 65,000 migrants waiting to come into the country. Our reporter Julia Ainsley, just a few minutes ago from El Paso, said that is not what she's seeing, that is not what she's hearing. So what can you tell us in these early hours after the expiration of Title 42 about what's going on at the border?
Thanks so much for having me. We are seeing people arriving at the border, at our southern border. We are taking them into custody. We are processing them, and if they make a claim for relief and don't succeed, they will be removed. Title 42, the Public Health Authority, ended about 7.5 hours ago. Our traditional immigration enforcement authorities that deliver tougher consequences started immediately thereafter, and there's been one constant through it all, and that is a broken immigration system that Congress needs to fix.
And we've heard from Border Patrol agents and leadership down there that this is going to be almost an impossible problem now with the expiration of Title 42, that they're just going to be overwhelmed. What are you doing? What are you putting in place, Mr. Secretary, to help make their job easier?
So we've been planning and executing on our plan for more than 18 months. We've been ready for this moment. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough transition, as I've made clear, but we've got a plan and we're executing on it. And our plan is very straightforward. There's a right way to seek relief in the United States and a wrong way. There's a safe way and a dangerous way. This president, President Biden, has expanded lawful pathways for individuals seeking relief more than anyone else. We have built lawful, safe, and orderly pathways for individuals to seek relief in the United States, where they don't have to place their lives and their life savings in the hands of ruthless smugglers that only care about profit, not people. If individuals do not use those lawful pathways, then they will face tougher consequences at the border. They will be removed if they do not qualify for relief, and they will face, after removal, at least a 5-year bar from entry into the United States. And if they try again, they could face criminal prosecution.
You said a moment ago, Mr. Secretary, that we have a broken immigration system, and I don't think many people would disagree with you about that. And yes, this is a decades-old problem, but the truth of the matter is, just this week, we're seeing record numbers of illegal crossings at the border. In the last year, almost 2 million arrests, another record at the border. Why has the problem gotten so much worse just in this last year or two?
Well, I would say two things. First, let's not surrender to the fact that we have a broken immigration system. Congress needs to act. Let's fix it. It's been a problem that everyone agrees on for more than 2 decades, number one. Number two, the challenge that we are seeing at our southern border is not unique to our southern border. It is a surge in migration, a surge in the displacement of people all across our region in Latin America, and not only in our hemisphere, around the world. We are seeing more displaced people now than we have at any time since World War II.
But why is it this last year? Why record crossing? Some have suggested it's because the impression that is out there is that it will be easier under President Biden to cross into the country, that the consequences are less severe than they would have been under President Trump or even under President Obama. Why is the problem so intense right now?
Well, a few factors. Poverty, violence, corruption, authoritarian regimes, the COVID-19 pandemic, extreme weather events. The causes of displacement are many, number one. And number two, we are also combating smuggling organizations that spread false information, that spread lies to intending migrants, deceiving them into thinking that the border is open, and it is not, and it has not been. Last year, we removed, returned, or expelled about to take the dangerous journey, I'd say don't take it. Use a safe, lawful, orderly path that we have made available to you. And second, don't believe the smugglers. Listen only to official government communications.
Wow. Let me know your thoughts about that video footage in the comments. Do you see the people carrying the babies in suitcases above their heads through the water? Some of the footage there of them going up the hill with the barbed wire, with the military, the troops, the border patrol agents just waiting there for them with the barbed wire. It's unbelievable, right? So you could see the border patrol agents just waiting there for them. So, I guess kind of the process is if they go to an area where they're caught, they have to go through the process where they seek asylum, which seems like the vast majority of the time they're probably not going to be allowed in. From what it seems like to me, you guys can let me know your thoughts. They will not be allowed in, and then they're from what it seems like to me, you guys can let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, or you can read through the comments. And then if they're not allowed in under Title 40, Title 8 now, Title 42 is expired. From what it seems like to me, then they cannot do it again for 5 years minimum, or else they could get criminal charges if they do it again. Now that doesn't mean that they won't try it again, and how clear it might be to these people, how desperate these people might be, if they might try to remain in Mexico at that point. How many of these people are Mexican citizens? They're already from Mexico. How many of these people are coming from other countries below Mexico? Can you imagine walking by foot or traveling by foot or maybe by car? Some of these people by train, if you watch my previous video, they travel by what some people call the train of death, which is unbelievable. Can you imagine riding on top of a train, holding on top of it for your life, and traveling hundreds or thousands of miles? Unbelievable, right? It's just, and you could imagine why they call it that, because if you fall off, yeah, I mean, and in some ways, I can sympathize with these people because they're looking for a better life. So if you put yourself in their shoes, they're born into a lesser country per se. They're born into a lesser life. They're born into a more dangerous life. Imagine if you were born in Ukraine. You know, just put yourself in a different situation. Unbelievable, right? Imagine if you were born into a war-torn country. Again, that's why I try to consider myself a realist, not left, not right. Imagine if you were born in Ukraine. Imagine if you were born in Russia and you were drafted into the military and forced to go to war for Russia, which is what they do with men there. It's just put yourself in this situation of a lot of other people's shoes and what it would be like. Unbelievable, right? And imagine if you're in some of these, dictatorship countries here south below the border, and some of these men for their families just say, we gotta get out of here. We just gotta look for a better life. Now, trust me, I'm not saying that's right. There's definitely legal ways to try to get in the country, but this is definitely what's happening here. You could see the footage. There's tens of thousands of people trying to come in the country every single day, and it's a problem. The U.S. is trying to combat it. Other countries are trying to combat it here as well, and we're bursting at the seams. So you can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here with this and everything else going on here in our country on a daily basis. If you haven't yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below and the bell icon so you don't miss out on every new video we come here with at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribing is completely free to do so. And thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos. Here's some videos you should watch next. Americans are stunned by what just happened for both Trump and Biden in this video. And President Biden says, quote, the entire world is in trouble in this video. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.